Welcome back. Liberian President George Weah has promised to take measures to tackle rampant inflation and economic hardship, including injecting $25 million into the forex market as ordinary Liberians protest against rising poverty. A former Soccer World Player of the Year, Weah took office at the start of 2018 on a promise to stamp out corruption and end economic misery for millions of Liberians.
President George Weah is now set to revive the economy and bring more local cash into the formal banking system.
This recent depreciation in value of Liberian dollar has increased inflation by 4%, point to 21% from 17% back in February 2018. I am fully aware of the negative impact of the declining exchange rate on the economic well-being of the Liberian people and the serious hardship that this is beginning to cause.
According to him, the injection of dollars would help mop up some excess Liberian dollars, adding that 90% of local cash in circulation was being held outside the formal banking system where there was no oversight.
These measures will include, but not be limited to, an immediate infusion by the central bank, $25 million United States dollars into the economy to mop up the excess liquidity of the Liberian dollar. A mandate to central bank to provide more effective supervisions and regulation on money changers of foreign exchange bureau. A mandate to the central bank to provide more robust oversight of banks under its supervision.
The collapse in the currency has hit Liberians particularly hard, sparking protests by students.
If you have a large or small family, it affects you greatly because when you used to bring like $1,000 in the market, you could get food stuff for you and your family to have a good meal. But now, if you bring even $2,000 to the market, you can't even get you a decent meal for the day. So it's affecting my family greatly, and I believe it's affecting all other families.
We know that prices usually go up during the rainy season, but this time is really bad. The prices have skyrocketed. Transport drivers are telling us not to blame them because the cost of fuel has also gone up. We used to buy a bunch of banana at 500 Liberian dollars, then $600. Now it's between $800 to $900 for the small bunch, not even the big one.
The Liberian dollar had declined 25% over 2017 and a further 25% since January, blamed in part the end of Liberia's UN peacekeeping mission in March, which had cut inflows of hard currency. President Weah says Liberia is set to embark on a major push to ensure it becomes more competitive in terms of domestic production, details of which will be unveiled shortly.
And Egypt is setting up a sovereign wealth fund with a capital of 200 billion Egyptian pounds. Former Public Enterprise Minister Khalid Badawi said in March that Egypt was discussing setting up a sovereign wealth fund to manage state companies it plans to list on the stock exchange. The fund aims to contribute to sustainable economic development through management of its funds and assets. The fund will be eligible to participate in all economic and investment activities, including setting up companies, investing in financial instruments and other debt instruments in Egypt and abroad. The law, passed by Parliament, approved a 5 billion Egyptian pound startup capital for the fund called Egypt Fund, with 1 billion pounds to be transferred immediately from the Treasury. Kenya's Safaricom is in advanced talks with the Ethiopian government to introduce its popular M-Pesa mobile money service, a major step towards establishing a toehold in the market of 100 million people. M-Pesa could transform Ethiopia's economy as it has done in Kenya by allowing people to sidestep a rundown and inefficient banking system and send each other money and make payments at the touch of a button. As such, it could bolster the bold political and economic reform drive of new Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed against opposition from hardliners in the ruling EPRDF coalition. The deal could also give Safaricom and its parent companies, South Africa's Vodacom and Britain's Vodafone, a head start with the Ethiopian government follows through on its state intention to open its telecom sector to foreign companies. And Steinhoff has extended its early bird fee deadline for the second time for creditors to sign a 3-year agreement to hold off their debt claims as the scandal hit South African retailer battles to stay afloat. Steinhoff wants to restructure its roughly €9 billion debt after disclosing holes in its balance sheet that wiped more than 90% of its market value and forced it into asset sales to fund working capital. The initial deadline was set for July 16, which was extended by 24 hours before that was pushed back by the same timeline. Creditors who sign up the so-called lock-up agreement within this time frame would qualify for an early bird fee. Steinhoff needs at least 75% of creditors to sign up by the final deadline of the lock-up agreement on Friday. Once enough creditors are locked in the 3-year deal, Steinhoff will begin restructuring its debt within 3 months. On the global oil market, benchmark Brent crude hit a 3-month low today after a rise in U.S. crude inventories highlighted increasing global supply and concerns over weak demand. Brent futures fell 93 cents to a low of $71.23 a barrel. Its weakest since April 17 before recovering slightly to around $71.45. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was down 60 cents at $67.48, not far off Tuesday's 1-month low of $67.03 per barrel. Oil markets have fallen over the last week as Saudi Arabia and other members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Russia increased production and as some supply disruptions eased. And finally, to precious metals market, gold extended its downtrend today, sinking to the lowest in a year on the buoyant dollar and falling oil prices. But some analysts say bullion is close to bottoming out. Gold has shed over 10% since touching a peak of $1,365 an ounce in mid-April, weighed down by a stronger dollar, rising U.S. interest rates and trade tensions. Spot gold was down 0.3% at $1,223 an ounce after touching its weakest since July 14 last year. U.S. gold futures for August delivery shed 0.3% at $1,223 an ounce. Among other precious metals, silver slipped 0.9% to $15.41 an ounce after touching $15.38 per ounce, its lowest since July 10 last year. Platinum lost 0.7% to $806.50 an ounce and hit a 2-week low of $798.14 an ounce earlier in the session. Palladium dipped 0.3% to $908.53 per ounce after hitting $903.97, the weakest since April 9. And that's a wrap on the show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu.